My friends, this is going to be Throwback Thursday. I'm going to shoot with some vintage gear today. This is the Sony Alpha 700, and so I've got the stock lens that came with it, the 18-70, and I've got here a really nice $200 lens you can still buy for these Sony cameras. This camera only shoots 12 megapixels, but I used to really love shooting with this, so I just charged the battery back up today. I'm going to walk around Morganton here and shoot a little bit of photos, and I'm going to make a little photo montage, and I'll talk about some of the places we're seeing. I'm out at the square right now. This is the old courthouse. So let's go around and shoot some photos with both the prime lens and the telephoto. Here we go. So folks, I'm in the studio, and what I've done, I've started each one of these photos full frame so you can see what they look like. They're 4 seconds each. When I get to about 91% and fill up the screen, and I go out of this. This is Senator Sam Ervin, he was over the Watergate hearings, if you know anything about history, when Nixon was the president and they were impeaching him. These are just roses there on the square. I wanted to do this, I guess, kind of to show that the old school photography gear still is pretty darn nice. I shot those first 4 or 5 images with the telephoto lens, and I went and I used the little macro lens the entire rest of the way. But I shot landscapes with it, everything. You'll see I've shot distant stuff, close stuff. But that little lens is a monster, and that camera is fantastic, the old Sony Alpha 700. It was funny, I was looking at it, I was thinking, man, this was like state of the art 10 years ago when I got, about 2008 I think I got one. I'd had an Alpha 100 before that. But, you know, people always think you got to go to the latest, greatest gear, and here I am at my office. We're going to be getting an Alpha 6500 Sony with mirrorless, which I have been looking forward to going mirrorless. But here you are with an old regular DSLR, just walking around Morganton. I wanted you to see kind of how nice the color was. I did shoot everything in camera raw. I did just a tiny bit of adjustment, very little. I didn't want to massively change what came out of the camera. That's one of my best friends there, Tim Smith. Big shout out to Tim. That's the First United Methodist Church in Morganton. I wasn't even trying to be artsy at all. Anything I thought looked interesting. Even an old back alley you might never see in a Morganton picture, I went ahead and did it. I experimented somewhat with the focus. This is marble, and I did that close-up shot so I could show how they had actually pieced those marble bits together. And of course it was the Masons that had done it. That's the Masonic Lodge. Pretty cool use of marble. I was on King Street to get on Queen Street a little bit later. But yeah, I'm just stopping and shooting, and I didn't set up any shots. I didn't try to do anything, like I say, artistic at all. I even, you know how some people shoot photos and they try to get just the prettiest parts of town. I even like the ugly parts of town. Sometimes I just shoot ugly cracks and sidewalks, and I don't care, old power meters, whatever. That's not a strawberry. It's something sort of like one. There's an old dandelion. So yeah, I used the little here's poison ivy. Why would I shoot poison ivy? It's just pretty, you know. And there's a lot of trees covered with vines and stuff down there in Morganton. One of my buddies had recommended I go to a little Japanese park, and I didn't even know that this thing existed in Morganton. And so a lot of times I'm just going out looking for stuff I've never seen before. So I went for a walk. That's what this was. During my lunch period, took my car out and said I need to lose a pound or two to give me get out and walk. Some of these plants are just insane, weird looking. That's my pug coughing over here. I've got a pug dog beside me. But I made my way down to this little Japanese park, and I saw that hydrant and all there, and the flowers along the way. So the Sony, the old Alpha 700, shoots more than a 4K image. So I mean, I could have actually, I'm not even blowing these up. I think 91% is what you see at the end here if you're watching this in 4K. But yeah, here's the little park. I finally made it down there, and so it's kind of pretty in there. Some trees and vegetation and stuff I was not even aware it was in Morganton. I'm not sure what kind of conifer that is, but it's kind of pretty, isn't it? So, like I say, shot in camera raw, exported all these as level 12 JPEGs, brought them into Adobe Premiere, and I'm starting at like 71% of the pixels and then going up to 97%. Those are magnolia leaves, and so I showed where they came from off the magnolia tree. That's shooting from underneath and then back from the top. And so Morganton is awesome this time of year. It's not even summer yet, but it's almost there. These are all still just little shots with inside this little pretty garden. That's probably a pond or something that's dried up. And yeah, I was just shooting rock work. Anything I thought was a cool texture I might use later. That's some sort of tree there. Thought the bark was just interesting looking. I'm not always in perfect focus. Some of these shots I did just kind of guesstimating that I was in focus. It doesn't have a viewfinder in the back, or it does, but not one that you use for focusing. It is old school in that way. So some of these shots I was holding the camera up and I was guessing I might be getting a good shot. I thought that stump was kind of neat to get in there really close and see those sorts of textures. So to me, there's beauty in a lot of stuff, whether it's really a nice subject or not. I like to just see just whatever's interesting. That rock to me is interesting. So yeah, I just wanted you to see what you think, folks. I mean, I know you see a lot of demoed photos now from particularly the mirrorless photos. So I'm gonna go out, probably do something similar to this in a few weeks once we have the Alpha 6500. I have seen just some very impressive images from that. But it's not always the gear. Sometimes it's just, what's your sense of what you're shooting at. What story does it tell? So this is all 12 megapixel. My pug is just fussing. That's the rec center, the brick building. That's the Methodist church in the background. I just saw that, City of Morganton. I thought that was kind of cool. That's the back of the rec center. I was just trying to see how would it get the textures of the bricks and the sky and everything. There again, of course, is the Methodist church. It has a very distinctive, pretty steeple. That's kind of neat. I never had noticed that eagle up there. I've driven past that building dozens and dozens of times. And that's cool. Stop and look at that if you want to. This guy had some really cool stuff on the back of his truck. That's the community house, and there's some things going on. I guess some construction or something taking place there. That's just a corridor or an alcove or whatever at the Methodist church, and there's some little flowers there close to it. I get back to the street here just in a minute. This is still a back street on the way out to Sterling Street. There's Queen Street going back that direction. That's the old courthouse. That dude was just pulling his bike in. It looked kind of neat to shoot down the alleyway there. And some art, some iron art. That's pretty. This was inside my local bakery, it's called. It's our really is a great bakery, and this stuff looks good. It tastes great. Oh man, that's awesome right there now. And this is where I get my hair cut a lot of times. I get my hair cut a number of different places, but I love the guys at Sain's. It's back toward the square. And so this is drawing to a close. I've probably got about 6 or 8 more pictures here. I feel like I'm going to sneeze, folks. Oh, Lord, help me. Excuse me. I'm leaving that in. I'm not changing it. That's the courthouse. I think we have 4 or 5 more photos to go. That's the back alleyway. That's called Morganton Federal, that building in the distance. There's our Burkhart's Council building. So yeah, tell me what you think of the Sony Alpha 700 photos, and what you think of Morganton. And thanks for indulging me in my little weird things that I find interesting. Peace to all who watch. Subscribe to my channel if you like. Thanks for watching.